Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I have my friend Tyler today. Tyler, say hi.
Hi.
You say hi the exact same way every time I bring you into a video. Today we're going to be talking about a movie we just saw. Tyler, what movie did we see the other day?
We saw Naked Men Part 5. But there's too much CGI, so we got sick of it.
He means Jurassic World. This is a family channel, right?
Yeah, it is a family channel.
This is a family show. For the 100-some people who subscribe to my channel, only 2 people watch. It's for those 2 people's families to watch, and you have to go and make it.
Yeah, I ruined it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Now don't do it again. We apologize for that inconvenience, folks. We saw Jurassic World, and Tyler, tell us your little background of Jurassic Park. What do you think of the original one?
Well, okay, the first one's my favorite movie, and I like the other ones, the second one and the third one. I think we're both on the same page with the third one. We don't like it as much as the first 2, right?
Yeah, I've only seen it once,
Mm-hmm.
and the first one's a classic.
Yeah.
The second
Definitely.
one's just it's decent, not as bad as people say it is.
Sure, I agree.
The third one has its moments, but it's still a mess.
Right, I agree with that, yeah.
It like the nostalgia critics said, the third one, it's a mess, but it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Exactly.
And I also got annoyed when they killed the T-Rex in it.
Me
Because
too.
that's the whole reason you see a Jurassic Park movie, is to see the T-Rex triumph, not some dumb Spinosaurus.
Yeah, it's like they missed the point, because the Spinosaurus is them trying to recreate the T-Rex.
Yeah.
But the T-Rex is already kind of... It's just the concept of a simple ultimate killing beast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you try to outdo it, it kind of defeats the point entirely of everything. So, I didn't like that as much. But you know what? The one thing the third one did have was it did spend a little bit more time, I think, on the characters.
Yeah.
Which, doesn't make it better than the first 2, but it definitely, justifies its existence a little bit. You know what I mean? It makes it passable, I think.
Yeah, it's still the most disappointing one out of all of them.
Exactly, and I think that's my biggest problem with it. Yeah.
The disappointment showed right when the movie began, when they showed that the two characters are split up now. The 2 characters that made it through Jurassic Park and all those horrible events, where you see his character develop and becoming more of a family man. They're not his kids, obviously, they're someone else's, and you see him just be like, okay, I've helped these kids, I can now probably handle a family. So everyone in the audience probably wanted to see him with this girl, and then
have his own family.
Have his own family with her, and not her be with someone else, because that's just kind of a slap in the face to all the fans of the series.
Yeah, no, I agree. I never liked that. It never felt right that they broke up.
Yeah,
it misses the point of the movie.
Yeah, I know it's a work of fiction, but it's kind of just seeing your parents get divorced, something like that.
Yeah, that was... I'll admit, the beginning of the third Jurassic Park always depressed me.
Yeah, it's because we didn't want to, we didn't want to see them split up. But they did. Like we said, the movie doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just...
Not only that, but you know what else is depressing? Is that whole movie, it's about how his company that digs for dinosaur bones is going out of business, and they're desperate for money.
Yeah.
I never liked that as much. I don't know, it's such a downer movie. It's weird. It's definitely not as fun as the first 2. I think we all agree.
The deaths in the first 2, they were at least fun. The deaths in this one kind of felt more...
grim, yeah. They were, sad.
Yeah. I felt bad watching it. The first one... Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson dies. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Jurassic Park yet. For that one human being on planet Earth. He dies, but it's just his arm, and they kind of... It's a brutal death, sure, but the movie still is a fun movie to watch. I still think the worst death in that one was the guy who, hunted raptors, and he, gets outsmarted. It makes sense, because he knows these things are smarter, so they outsmarted him.
Yeah, it works.
But I still would have liked to see him go at it with the dinosaurs a bit more. But it's not supposed to be just a straight-up action, shoot-'em-up movie. It's supposed to be a science fiction adventure.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A prehistoric Frankenstein.
That's
why the movie works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they were doing with the third one, but I think that this new one, Jurassic World, stands as a... If we ignore the second and third one, this one, if we erase those 2 from existence, I think Jurassic World could be Jurassic Park 2.
Mm-hmm. Not only... Yeah, it works as a sequel, but not only that, I would also say if they made like if you take the first three, put them together, in just this, okay, this is another thing I wanted to say. When we were rocking out at the theater, I told you about Stan Winston, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he did the design of the T-Rex and the dinosaurs in the first Jurassic Park, and I don't know if he did the other two. I think he did. Yeah, no, I think he did, because someone said, like, the Jurassic World was the first one where he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, you can tell immediately when you watch this movie. He also did Terminator, by the way. He did Terminator. He did a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. Look him up. But he also did. But this new movie, it doesn't. The dinosaurs don't look the same at all. They don't even look remotely similar to the first three.
It's a different guy.
Even the third one, they kind of look similar, right?
Yeah, the T-Rex. The one thing I didn't like about the special effects in this one is there wasn't enough. I think there was some, but I don't think they used it as often. Animatronic dinosaurs.
Yeah. Like, I wish there was more in this movie. Yeah.
Like, I would like to see when certain dinosaurs showed up. We'll get into spoilers later when I want, because there's the one dinosaur I want to talk about, but I want to have that as a spoiler section at the end.
Oh, sure.
Where I would like to have seen him first appear as a animatronic, but throughout the movie, some of them might have been animatronic, like the long neck who was dying. That might have been when he was like petting him. That might have been animatronic. I couldn't tell. It looked kind of CG, but he was like touching something. I think when
maybe
the raptors, when they were muzzled up, they could have. I think they would have been better if they were animatronics as opposed to
that would be easy. Just get the head.
Yeah, you can just make a head. I mean, I'm sure it's not easy, but it would have been a simpler animatronic effect to do, and it would have been harkening back to the original ones, where, because they mixed animatronics with CGI, and that's something another thing Nostalgia Critic said is that people they don't mind a lot of CG, but blending it in with animatronic effects makes it better because
it's harder to spot the effect.
Yeah. If you rewatch Jurassic Park now, you can obviously see the CG. Obviously, it
is at least blended to a degree.
Yeah,
because there's a combination of effects being used. But when it's just the Brontosaurus scene where it's just CG.
Yeah.
In like the first time you see the dinosaurs, pretty much in the movie. Yeah. That's the only scene where you can really tell it's CGI, and that's because they didn't use other effects. It's all CG.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. You got to mix effects. Also, the T-Rex scene is dark and rainy, so it's harder to see. Yeah. So that's why they get away with it there with the CGI, because, you know what I mean? Yeah. It hides it, Which is a good idea.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to use, like, subtle tricks to try and hide the effect.
Speaking of that, Toy Story was, because everything looked plastic in the early days of CGI, they made a movie about toys.
That's why they did that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, see, again, hiding the effects. It's a clever trick.
I mean, in the original Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only one that had Peter Parker. The only Spider-Man that had Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. If you rewatch it now, some of the effects are really bad when he's like jumping from roof to roof.
Yeah, especially.
He looks like Woody jumping around. And it's in daylight, so they didn't really cover it up. But obviously, as the movies went on, they got better. Especially the second one. The second one had the best effects, I think. As the second one's the best in the series.
Yeah, maybe one of the best superhero movies.
It's my favorite superhero movie ever.
Yeah. Better than Batman, the first
Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
There's actually a few superhero movies I like more than that one.
Dark Knight Rises.
No, I like Batman more than that one.
Okay.
The Crow.
The Crow. I always forget about The Crow, but The Crow is one of the best ever made.
Yeah, The Crow.
Crow could be the best.
Yeah.
I would almost argue.
The Crow could be arguably the best. It's The Crow, Kick-Ass, and Spider-Man 2. Kick-Ass because it always puts me in a good mood. Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to Jurassic World. We get off topic really easy.
Yeah.
There's only...
Oh, what I was going to say. Okay, with the sequel thing. Okay. You said this one could basically be a standalone, like a sequel by itself. Like this could be Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah.
Something I would even say, if they kept making Jurassic Park sequels, you could almost just have it be a thing where there's the Spielberg trilogy or like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
The first three, and then you could just do another 3.
Yeah.
And these are good enough. You could probably do its own little trilogy because it's one of those things where it feels different enough to be separated, but it's good enough to kind of be connected. If that makes sense.
I think
like I wouldn't be angry if they did more like this.
More Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, the only reason why I think this sequel makes the most sense out of all of them is because the first Jurassic Park, that was in the 90s. This is like somewhat a little bit over 20 years later that this.
It would take a while to try it again.
Yeah, because if we erase the second sequel from existence, the Jurassic Park 2 and 3, we have Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic World. It makes sense because the park failed, and then many years down the line, someone says, "You know what? Let's try it again." Because Jurassic Park 2 and 3, they have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with the actual park.
Yeah, that always bothered me. But not only that was it was always like dumb why they would go to the island.
Yeah,
it was always like an excuse. Like
there was always a dumb excuse. This one's the first time it feels like there's actually because
you know what else? By the way, this didn't have the same people.
Yeah.
If lightning strikes twice, at least it's not the same people there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the problem with the first two sequels was like the first one had Ian Malcolm and he somehow goes back to the island because his wife's there, his girlfriend, and it's like, why would you go back? You just learned not to do this. You learn you know just don't go to the island with the dinosaurs.
And he's the one who said in the first one, this is something that should never be done.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing with nature.
Yeah.
God, and he says like I forget what the exact quote was. He said, dinosaurs had their chance, and then God said, I'm done with them, and he got rid of them for a reason.
Yeah, I never got why they didn't use Sam Neill in the second one.
I don't know either. They use him. I don't know
because he was big enough after the first one, right? I mean, he was.
I wish that the one thing. Speaking of actors, I wish this one had more actors from the original one.
Me too.
Not like it doesn't have to be a reunion. It could be like they have Jeff Goldblum come back and he says, like, is this something that James Rolfe said, and I agree with him, and he said that he would be along the lines of, I told you not to do this.
Mm-hmm.
He can just come back, say something like that. But no, the only recurring character they have is one of the scientists from the first one, and they made him a bad guy kind of character.
Which didn't make sense. It's like by the way, most people won't even remember that's because he's not a big character in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know what he does in the first movie? He comes in and says, "Yeah, that's a velociraptor."
Yeah,
that's it. That's all he does in the whole movie.
Yeah, he's the one who shows them the eggs and stuff like that, and now he's like a scientist.
A typical.
He's like the Frankenstein of this.
Like a typical audience member wouldn't even remember he was in the movie.
The only reason why I recognized him is because I watched Jurassic Park that day.
You know what?
And that's why I kind of poked at you and said, "Hey, it's the guy from the first one." If I didn't see it I probably would have recognized him because I remember he's an Asian gentleman, and he's one of the only Asian gentlemen in the entire series.
Yeah. But someone told me right before. That's why I know. Yeah. Someone told me he was going to be in it. But you know what?
Orson Welles is in this movie too.
What? He is?
I mean, the guy Vincent D'Onofrio. He played Orson Welles in the movie Ed Wood.
Oh, really? Oh, the big fat guy in this?
Yeah.
No way, that guy?
Yeah, he played Orson Welles in Ed Wood.
There you go.
He's like a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, he's good.
He can do almost anything. Like, he's a cartoon character, sure. He's just a generic military guy, but he was fun. Some people complained about the characters. I just thought the characters were fun.
Yeah. Well, okay. Back to what you're saying with people from past movies. What was I gonna say?
They didn't even have to have.
Oh, you know who they should have had? One of the things when we rewatched back in 2013, we watched Jurassic Park again for the first time.
It was,
which, by the way,
we saw in theaters.
Yeah, we saw it in theaters because they put it in 3D again. And one of the weird things was that was the first time I'd seen it since I was in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
So back in like 2002 or something. That was the first time since 2002 I'd seen Jurassic Park. And one of the things I forgot about it that they never followed up on, and I can't believe the Nostalgia Critic should have brought this up in his review, is remember the second scene in the movie when after the construction site worker dies and the lawyer's coming across the water on the raft.
Yeah.
And then he gets off. And there's that guy, the guy who takes him into the tunnel, and he's like, "You won't get Alan Grant to do this thing for you, because he's like me. He's someone who digs for a living." And then he starts laughing, and he looks at like the diamond thing he just got. Who is that guy? Do you ever ask yourself that question? They never give any more information about him.
Maybe he's in the book.
Well, no, but but like. Speaking of things that don't add up in the series, if the Nostalgia Critic would have brought up that, I mean, I would agree with them.
Yeah.
They need to explain that character. They should have brought him back and explained who the hell was this guy? Why was he laughing?
But no, they bring back Asian guy that I can never remember the name.
Bring back the because here's the thing: he's not even a minor character. This character, he had a significant part in the beginning.
He was the one who was digging for the amber that had the
never explained.
Yeah,
they never go back and explain him.
Yeah,
like that's I honestly forgot about that guy when I like I said when we rewatched it for the first time in a long time. I forgot. And I remembered like who the hell is this guy?
It's kind of funny how you said that. That was the first time you've seen it in a while because that's also the first time I've seen it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
No, the last time I saw that was when we took those middle school trips, when we took those buses that had TVs on them.
Oh yeah, you guys saw Jurassic Park. We saw stupid ass holes.
I like that movie.
No, I do too, but we had to watch that movie, which is stupid compared to Jurassic Park. We should have watched... No, you know what we did? We watched that. I think we watched The Goonies the one time when we went to Baltimore, which was awesome.
It sucks, though. After they played Jurassic Park, they played this stupid educational video that no one wanted to watch.
Oh.
It's like, play the educational first, and play the educational video first, then show us Jurassic Park. But anyways,
Well, Jurassic Park is educational. You learn about dinosaurs.
Yeah, we get to
What was the educational movie?
It was about plants and stuff like that. I didn't care. Everyone was
the most... Why would they show you a video about Baltimore or something?
It was stupid. It was on the way back, too, so everyone just wanted to get home. But anyways, did you know that James... Don't quote me on this, but apparently James Cameron was actually supposed to direct Jurassic Park.
No. Yeah, I heard that, too. Which makes sense when you think about it, because he had just used CGI in Terminator, and Terminator was like a big spectacle movie. Mm-hmm. So it makes perfect sense that he would do Jurassic Park, really, because him and like Spielberg are the two... Or at least at the time, were the two big blockbuster guys, really. Yeah,
and then James Cameron vanished after a while because...
After Titanic, for no reason.
Because he wanted to do Avatar next, and then he just kind of waited until he had the technology to do...
You know what else is weird is, like, Spielberg... He's had periods of time where he disappears, like, between 93 and 97.
Yeah.
And then, I would argue from 2005 to 2008, then 2008 to whenever he did War Horse.
Yeah. When did Private Ryan came out?
98.
Okay.
That was right after it came back. Why would you think that was in like the mid 90s or something?
I thought that was like early 2000s. I thought that was like 2000 or something like that.
Close. It was 98. Not too far away.
Because the only reason I bring the James Cameron thing up is because he said that he was happy that Spielberg did it. Did I tell you his quote?
Yeah.
Because he said it would have just been aliens with dinosaurs. And I said in my recent video of my favorite movies of all time, I would love to see a movie that's aliens with dinosaurs.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that always kind of slightly bothered me with the first Jurassic Park is it's a bit too comedic for what it is.
Yeah.
Especially in the first third. Now, I'm not talking shit on the second third and the last third of Jurassic Park with the T-Rex and the Raptors. I'm just talking about the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
It's a bit comedic in the dialogue, like, oh, that's one big pile of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it kind of doesn't fit the tone of the movie because it's like, you guys are about to get eaten by dinosaurs. Like, try to build up the suspense a little bit. That part, you know, I could see James Cameron doing that maybe better. Yeah.
It's like, I guess kind of see it as a calm before the storm type of thing. But the reason I find it so interesting is because what we were talking about earlier is that in this movie, when there's a scene where there's a like military-esque personnel. They're not military. They're just kind of the park's security, like, and they're highly more militarized than any security force I've seen in.
Well, they need to be, I guess.
Because they're dealing with giant monsters, and they're egotistical. Well, they never show them as real characters or anything like that. They basically just
has James Cameron written all over it.
Yeah, they're egotistical military people, and similar to the Marines and aliens, and they're going up against an enemy that they haven't went up against before, but they think they can take it out, and then they go up against it, and then they just start getting picked off one by one.
You know what bothers me in both the case of Avatar and this?
What? They
weren't able to take out what they were trying to take out. They should have been able to.
Yeah.
Because they have guns.
Mm-hmm. And then it's the exact same scene from Aliens, where every time it shows the screen and then it either goes black or
POV.
It shows their POV, they die, it either goes black or goes static, and then their heart rate just stops. It's the exact same scene from Aliens, this scene where they first interact with the aliens.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So it's kind of ironic how James Cameron said he would basically make aliens with dinosaurs, and now with this one they're having a scene ripped directly from Alien. Mm-hmm. And then with the scene with the raptors when Dominus Rex, I think that's what it's called, when they interact with each other. That scene's also similar to Aliens, because it's again just another scene where, you know, it's egotistical military people and they're fighting against an enemy they haven't fought before. But this one, it's literal military because, I don't know, they want to use the dinosaurs for...
Something, yeah. They bring in the military halfway into the movie. Oh, we should say spoilers at this point.
Yeah, because now we're getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah, now we're really talking about the fourth Jurassic Park, yeah.
This part, like, that whole military part isn't really spoilers because that's stated in, like...
The trailer, yeah.
It's in the trailer, it's talked about early in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where we're going to talk about the end now, and I'm going to talk about why the ending of this movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because spoiler warnings, we're just gonna end this. We're gonna talk about spoilers. We're gonna end a review now. I'm gonna say see it. I loved it, and you're gonna say
I'll see it. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If I had to judge the movie, I don't know. Like, do you want to elaborate any more on what you thought about it?
I wish there was more, like practical effects. The kids were fine. There were finally kids in the movie that weren't annoying. We didn't talk about the kids at all.
Oh, in the first Jurassic Park. I didn't mind the first one. I think the girl in the second one might have been annoying. I don't remember.
I mean, I'm just talking about this one.
Oh, okay.
The kids in this movie...
weren't annoying.
Yeah, they weren't annoying. They were just kids that were stuck in a place and they were scared. Everyone was kind of a more exaggerated version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The rich Indian guy was a generic rich Indian guy. The lady was a generic lady of her own term. Their babysitter kind of just there to die. Not a big spoiler, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vincent D'Onofrio was generic military man. Chris Pratt was being Chris Pratt, which is always fine. I like Chris Pratt a lot, so if I'm saying Chris Pratt's being Chris Pratt, that's a compliment, I promise everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some people didn't like the characters. I thought the characters were fine. It's a good... Don't go into this expecting Jurassic Park, because the thing about Jurassic Park is that wonder's never going to happen again.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It never will.
Yeah.
Because Jurassic Park, it was ahead of its time. It was a breakthrough in special effects. It was great storytelling. This one, good story, but the effects, we're never going to have the same effects renaissance again. It's just that simple. We're never going to have a new revolution in special effects.
Yeah, well, you know what else is, we're not going to have the revolution again. CGI is not impressive anymore because we've seen it too much.
Yeah, and I think that's something they mildly addressed in this one with how, you know...
The dinosaurs no one's impressed by them anymore.
Yeah, so they now need to make something
It's
new.
like we get desensitized with what we see. So it's funny how the dinosaurs in this movie are almost... I don't know if they do this intentionally in the movies or not intentionally.
Yeah.
Or basically symbolism, or, you know what I mean?
Of how we see movies now.
No, well, it's symbolism of CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically. Okay, let me explain why the dinosaurs are symbolism... In the movies are symbolism for CGI. Because in the first one they say the dinosaurs were basically like... something a corporation like InGen obtained without any responsibility.
You know something interesting? InGen, they're actually in the first book.
Probably, I'm assuming.
I thought that was interesting when I was
reading it. But they, so it's a corporation that basically takes something they can't handle, and then, you know, before they even know what they have, they abuse it, and then it gets out of control, and it just...
Really quickly.
Yeah, and it just goes nuts. And then it's funny because Jurassic Park is one of the first CGI movies.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with CGI. You know, people who used no responsibility to obtain, you know, because it had been done before. You know what I mean? They just, you know, took what had been done before, used it to sell a product, and then that got out of control. And just now, after Jurassic Park, CGI was all over the place. Mm-hmm. So it's funny how, the dinosaurs were symbolism for CGI. And then in this film, they're also symbolism because... you know, people are sick of CGI and they're sick of dinosaurs in the movie. It's like, it's really, I don't know, I like that.
So they need to show something else now because...
Which, again, the movie, they have to show something else also in the movie to impress people. So it's perfect, I don't know, it ties in nicely. It's like, art imitates life.
Yeah.
You know?
But anyways, we both say see it, but now we're going to talk about spoilers. And we're going to talk about, so if anyone doesn't want this spoiled, if everyone wants to know how we feel about the end of the movie... Mm-hmm. Keep watching, but we're actually going to talk about what happens. Throughout most of the movie, you don't see the T-Rex. The T-Rex is not a major character in this movie.
You forget he's there.
Yeah, he's mildly in the background in the one scene. He kind of, people are surrounded, like you can't see him because people are blocking his way.
Mm-hmm.
But you know he's there. But the whole movie, they don't focus on him at all. And then at the very end, when they're all trying to escape, and the Indominus Rex is chasing them, the kid says, "We need more teeth." And then, corporate lady, she's all like, "I know what to do here," and then she gets
leaves them to get eaten to go get the T-Rex.
Well, she leaves him with Chris Pratt. So.
Okay, yeah, sure. He'll like he should have just fought the T-Rex at the end with his fist.
That would have been funnier.
And just killed it, Nate.
Like freaking, it's like something out of Street Fighter, like Upper Dragon punches it.
Mm-hmm.
Because earlier on in the movie, it's actually the Raptors that are fighting the Indominus Rex because they find out that it's supposed to be a mystery throughout the entire movie of what this T-Rex hybrid thing is supposed to be a mixture of, and they never tell.
Part chameleon,
part
frog or something.
The frog thing was in all of them though, because in the very first
but
movie,
it can hide its heat or something.
Yeah, they say in the very first movie that in order to connect the DNA, they use frog DNA, and it wasn't a chameleon. It was it might have been chameleon, but they said something about a cuttlefish. I think that was supposed to be. I don't know what the traits of a cuttlefish are. I think that can actually.
Oh, it wasn't a frog.
No, it was a frog. Mm-hmm. But they said something about a cuttlefish, and it might have been a chameleon. I really wasn't paying attention to the science parts.
Yeah, well, it's hard to pay attention.
And then they just and then the Raptors start talking to, as Raptors.
They're like, "Hey, what's going on, man?"
Yeah, they do the
start talking.
The Raptors.
Alan.
Oh, shut up! I don't like that.
Alan.
You know that scene was terrible. The Raptors start talking to the Indominus Rex, and then Chris Pratt's character Owen, which I think that's the first time we ever called a character by name in this, says, "Now I know why they never told us what's mixed with. It's mixed with a raptor, and nothing's worse than probably a T-Rex and raptor hybrid, because now the Indominus Rex is communicating with the raptor, saying these. We don't know what they're saying to them, but they're saying bad things. And one thing I noticed is, have you ever played Monster Hunter? Probably not.
No.
There's these things called Jaggies, and they make the same sounds that the raptors do in this. They look like raptors in the game.
I played this game called Mario once.
Shut up.
And Sonic, that was a good game.
But there's this one really touching scene at the end where Chris Pratt's talking to the raptors, and he gets them back on his side, and then the raptors start fighting the Indominus Rex. But of course, the raptors are not going to beat a giant monster.
I felt bad for them. They felt like if you tell a dog what to do and then it gets killed, you'd feel bad for the dog.
Yeah.
Felt like that.
The one got obliterated too.
How did that happen?
I don't know what it ran into.
I thought it landed on a stove, but I was like, why did it just
burst into flame?
Yeah, what the hell?
That was weird.
What was in the park that made that happen? Because that raises a lot of safety questions.
That's a safety hazard at the peak. Because it's not like he was on fire and then he hit something. It was just he got knocked into something and then he burst into flame.
Maybe the CGI animator just got tired of the scene and he's like, "Fuck it, he's just gonna blow up at this part because I'm done."
Yeah, just I don't want this. I'm just gonna blow him up. And then corporate lady runs out. She grabs a road flare, reference to the first one, we assume, and she summons
come this way. I got the road flare.
The gate starts opening, and we all know what's going to be inside of there because they're all saying don't do it, don't do it, and they open it up, and this is the part where I wish they used an animatronic.
The T-Rex.
Yeah, the T-Rex, where his head came out, and it was just the animatronic head. I would have lost my mind if obviously I was happy because it's the T-Rex back, but I think it would have been way cooler if they would have gotten an animatronic head.
That was the only dinosaur that looked like the Stan Winston one was the T-Rex, honestly. Because that's the thing, the Raptors just don't look like the original models. They look, I don't know.
They're bluer.
That's the point I'm trying to make is this movie has its own identity to it than the other three. The other three feel like they're all 4 years from one another, so they all feel together.
Yeah.
And then this one feels like the lost cousin of the movies, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be fine if this is just the second trilogy of these movies. That's the point I'm just trying to make, is just organizing them by type.
Yeah.
Is my point. But I'm fine with that. That'd be cool. Because there's already a trilogy for these movies. There's already, a Jurassic Park 3 set,
So, how there's, now 2, 3... different series of Terminator movies. There's the original trilogy, then there's Salvation, which went nowhere, and now there's Genesis.
I don't know trilogy. That's the shit trilogy.
Yeah. Well, the first 2 Terminator movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
And the third one happened, no one cared about it. Then the fourth one happened, no one cared. But let's finish our talk about Jurassic Park before we talk about Terminator. And then, obviously...
We'll be doing this again for Terminator, but we'll be angrier.
Yeah, probably. Even though James Cameron said it's apparently good, which I don't believe him.
He's full of shit.
Probably.
Is he producing it? You know Spielberg produced this.
Yeah, no, he's produced this. I don't think James Cameron had anything to do with it.
Now, which makes me wonder, how much influence did he have on this?
Spielberg?
Who knows, right? How much?
I don't know.
Because he produced the Transformers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The look of shock on your face is priceless. Like, oh my god. Because we were just talking about how he produced, earlier, we were talking about how he produced Back to the Future. Oh, yeah, Back to the Future. And,
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
He produced Gremlins, right?
Yeah, Goonies also.
And, Poltergeist, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm...
No, he produced the remake.
Shut up.
The original was produced.
Let's finish talking about Jurassic World. There's a fight between the Indominus Rex and the T-Rex. And it's cool. It's like watching a Godzilla fight.
It holds us over for the next monster movie. Because there's not going to be one for a while. So.
Yeah, this is the last giant monster movie we're probably going to have. The next big one's Pacific Rim 2.
So it was Pacific Rim in 2013, 2014 Godzilla, 2015 a little bit of Jurassic Park.
And next year, as far as I know, there's nothing. There's the Attack on Titan movie, where I'm not sure if that's even...
Maybe it'll come out.
Maybe it'll come out in the US, I don't know.
Then 2017.
There's Pacific Rim 2, and then 2018 there's Godzilla 2. But with this, it was like what James Rolfe said about The Lost World. He said that was basically his monster movie fix until they made another Godzilla movie. And
it ended up being more like Godzilla than Godzilla.
Yeah. And this one... It's not more like Godzilla than Godzilla 2014. Godzilla 2014 was more like Godzilla than most Godzilla movies.
And this was more like Jurassic Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so you can describe the end and
they fight the Indominus Rex. Obviously, it's a more powerful monster. It's gonna...
So you can't beat the T-Rex. I mean, it beats the T-Rex.
Beats its T-Rex for a little bit, but then one of the raptors saves the day. And then it's like... Then nature winds up correcting itself, basically.
With the big dinosaur.
Yeah, like...
Fish one.
Not yet, but the T-Rex winds up fighting back, and then it's an awesome fight scene with the T-Rex and then the little raptor, like, jumping all over it. It's really cool. It's really well done.
My only big problem with that is I don't know what the fuck the raptor was doing to help, because...
It was just kind of just gnawing at it.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense, but I mean, I'm just a bit like, I don't know, it's just like, it's like two things fighting, and then one little thing kind of...
Yeah.
It's
more
like...
or less poking at it. And then...
But I'm sure it did something.
And then, obviously, at the very end, when it reaches the point of where that fish tank is, which that fish tank's... Like, that shouldn't... The public should not be able to get that close to that fish tank.
Yeah,
That's another safety hazard. Because if you see the little fence, it's just a small little fucking fence.
Someone analyzed on YouTube that dinosaur, if when the head comes out to grab the shark... If you actually added the tail to that dinosaur, it would be the size of, like, that needle thing in is it Seattle? The big needle, the big...
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Whatever. I don't know the name of buildings, but the big building.
The giant needle in Seattle.
No, it'd be huge. So there's a lot of little flaws like that throughout the movie. Like, there's... You kind of have to just give up on realism on this one. Like
any Jurassic Park movie, really.
Yeah, well, no. This one way more than the other ones, because the first ones are pretty subdued. It was just a cage and there were dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
Basic.
This one's just chaos.
Yeah, well, there's too many little, like, safety hazards that you just have to say, you know what, fuck it. There's something where they would lower the food for the big white chameleon dinosaur.
Yeah.
And you know what ran through my... There's just one fat, lazy security guard, like, alone in a room. Like, and he's the only guy there, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. And he hits a button, and the thing lowers down.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your question for the day. Who the hell puts that on there, if it's just one guy working there? Because someone would have to kind of get in the cage to put that thing in there, to, like, set up the drop. At least in the raptor scene in the first movie, they had, like, 4 or 5 people working there to lower the cow, right?
Yeah.
You see, like, little things like that bother me, because... My problem is they have a huge park.
Yeah.
And there's always like 1 or 2 people doing simple tasks, and I'm like, well, you know what? You need more people at this park.
This is monsters that can eat people.
Like, there's little things. Like, this movie's gonna get nitpicked to how, like, there's scenes where, like, Chris Pratt's on a motorcycle with a bunch of, like, velociraptors. Anyone can just be like, why didn't the velociraptors just lunge at him and kill him? It's like...
Well, it's like they trust him. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't start to question this movie.
Yeah.
You just gotta go with it.
Like, that... I still think the biggest safety hazard is the fact that that giant freaking shark monster thing's fish tank, like, the closest thing that thing has to a security gate is just that, like, little fence there.
And as you saw, the thing's like this freaking big, and the fence is like that.
Yeah, in comparison.
It could just go...
Just, like, and it just comes up and grabs the Adamus Rex and pulls it in, and it's just, like... It was kind of an underwhelming way to kill it. I'd like to see the T-Rex actually get the final blow on it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's still cool to see that thing again.
Well, okay, back to nitpicking about little things. Like, how would... Like, okay, yeah, the T-Rex and the Velociraptor both work together, but, I mean, they're lizard brains. They don't
think that way.
They don't understand cooperation and not killing each other.
Yeah.
So at the end, like, it's just those two together, and they just go, whatever, and they walk away, and it's like, well, you know what? The T-Rex and the Raptor are still predators. They still kill each other.
And they're known throughout history to hate each other.
Yeah.
But then again, it's called Jurassic Park when all these creatures are from the Cretaceous period, too, so who literally knows?
Yeah, it's all... Who the fuck knows? I've given up on this a while ago.
Yeah.
With this movie, especially. Like,
it's a fun movie with enough flaws. Not movie-killing flaws, just silly flaws that are fun to nitpick. But almost any good movie has that.
Should I quote Red Letter Media?
Yeah.
It's, like, I think it was the Star Wars Christmas special review where he said, like, from the trailer you could see it's, like, schlock.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what they're going for is, like, a dinosaur or schlock kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is. That's the best description I could think of for this, so...
Yes.
But, I mean, I don't know if it ruins the movie, but it's okay for what it is. It's different, but it's whatever. It's good.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. You know, this movie, I thought it was going to be a train wreck, honestly, because what I thought was, you have modern cinema, which, by the way, the history of cinema is, like, something like plots up here, special effects are here, like, in terms of quality, and then they kind of went like this.
Yeah.
And, like, matched around the Titanic, Saving Private Ryan era. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For a little bit, they went like this.
They were together... Like Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, they were together, and then...
for a very short period of time did special effects and plot go together. There's some movies that do it really well, like some of the Avengers movies. They are on special effects.
Sure. I mean, movies, like, even Lord of the Rings, but my point is, like historically, it's been like this, and then now special effects has overshot plot, you know?
Yeah. This movie doesn't... We're not saying this movie has a fantastic plot or anything like
that.
No,
my point is this film is a miracle given that, in my opinion, I think a lot of movies are like this. Not to be like the Grinch, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we live in a world where Smurfs happened.
Yeah.
And Jack and Jill. So for me, I'm like, well, you know
Smurfs,
what?
Jack, any Adam Sandler movie after the 2000s.
Yeah, Hollywood's really not in the best position to be making... Like, they couldn't get it right. Or they couldn't do it again in 2001.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I really don't want to see them try it in 2015.
Yeah.
They're nowhere close. But you know what? To be fair,
this is the closest
they came close. They came damn close for what it was for 2015.
I just hope that because Chris
that's why I recommend it. Honestly,
yeah.
I thought it was good for, you know what I mean. Like it was a surprise. I was shocked at how good it was.
Yeah, Chris Pratt said he's on for another Jurassic World movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it's gonna I just hope whatever errors were in this one.
James, they gone and tricked us into wanting more. We're buying into the corporate system.
Shut up, Tyler. I don't want to believe this. But anyways...
They tricked us. They manipulated our brains. Now we want sequels.
Yeah. But anyways, we're going to rant about this in person. We're both going to say go see the movie. It's a lot of fun. You all take care. Say bye,
Yeah,
Tyler.
bye.